Oh, There's a space set in place for them full of books. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just some more thoughts coming in. Gosh, lots of you. We still want to hear from somebody who runs a library or somebody working for a local council about the costs and savings that you make if you choose to close a library. This one here, the voluntary system of libraries is great. And this is commenting on one of our earlier callers from Warrington in Cheshire, saying, we've banded together and we've kept it open and we've renovated our local library. So this says the voluntary system of libraries is great in middle class areas where people have the money and they have the time. In deprived areas where libraries are most needed, that isn't so easy. People are more likely to be working long hours and have little spare money to donate. Tina says our village library is a central hub to our community. It's about far more than books. It's run by Suffolk Libraries. It's a registered charity and volunteers work there. It's essential to our community. We are very lucky to have it. Another one here, libraries are indispensable and should be a human right. I've gone from cleaner to PhD student and would be nowhere without libraries. Thank you very much for all of your calls on this. I didn't get anyone to give me a price tag, but maybe we'll return to this subject at another time. We've just got a little bit of time left. Should we talk about one of the other stories that's dominated, certainly the newspapers have been breathlessly covering this? This is about the question of misogyny in the workplace, and it all was sparked by Greg Wallace and women coming forward, and he apologised afterwards for making the remark of a certain class and a certain age. I can't exactly remember what he said, but it wasn't lovely. Apologised, coming forward and saying his behaviour was unacceptable. Misogyny in the workplace, have times really changed, or what did you make of this? 03700 100 444. Penny Denton calling us from Oxfordshire. Hello, Penny.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know whether you've seen, but there's a smattering of artists. They came out after the initial story saying, you know what, everybody lighten up. It's not great behaviour, but it's not going to end your life. So just relax. What did you make of that school of thought?
I didn't see that, but I did notice that he did apologise, which I think was absolutely ridiculous. He didn't mean it at all. He was worried about losing his job and his livelihood.
And what about this issue of sort of conduct in the workplace? Have things changed enough? Should they change more? Has society changed and some people just haven't changed with it? What are you thinking?
We used to deal with things ourselves. Where I worked initially when I left school, I worked in a bank, and one of the guys there used to come up and touch us. He shouldn't have touched us where he did, and we decided to take matters into our own hands. So we decided that I had the darkest lipstick, and everybody else kept him talking, while I very carefully and quietly drew lips across the back of his white shirt with my dark lipstick.
Right. Okay. So
that was the way we dealt with that. And then I used to be given a lift into work by one of my colleagues and one of the senior people, and his hand would slip from the gear stick onto my knee. I kept telling him to stop. He wouldn't. I said I would scratch him, and he still wouldn't stop, so I scratched him. And he was off work for 2 weeks with a poisoned hand. And that was the way we dealt with things. But I think people are too frightened these days because dogs aren't as easy to come by these days.
Well, I mean, that's interesting that you think we're more frightened, because I've heard from many women of an older generation saying, actually, we complain about things that they would never have complained about. 03700 100 444. Mac from Swindon says, why is Greg Wallace getting so much stick? I don't recall any complaints about Nigella and her shows, and they're full of overt sexual innuendo, verbal and visual. I should say that Greg Wallace, he did apologise. I think one of our callers said he apologised, but it was for all the comments about sort of middle-class, middle-aged women coming forward and complaining. This is a statement from his lawyer. I should read it to you. It's entirely false that he engages in behaviour of a sexually harassing nature. So, I mean, let's talk about sort of the cultural conversation that has been sparked by all of this. Joe Bracey has called us from Gwynedd. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So what do we learn from all of this?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. My comment is that we should look at society as a whole and recognise that from the age of 2, when children are amused, children amuse adults by lavatorial jokes, and they grow up feeling, this is quite fun, it makes them laugh. And some people, as they mature, don't always appreciate who would receive that well and who might be embarrassed by it, and any other more sexual perceptions. I think we need to look at everybody as a whole, lighten up a bit, and be respectful of each other.
Okay. Thank you. Be respectful of each other. Joe, I'm gonna move on because I've got a couple more callers to get in. Linda says on text, I'd like to pose the thought that this Greg Wallace stuff has not only sparked thoughts about work-based behaviour, but the wider context of home society in general. How wide is this way of behaviour spreading, and how do we challenge it for the good of all people and places? Amy Wilcock calling us from Market Waiting in East Yorkshire. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
Hi. We have only got a few minutes, so could be concise. I'd be grateful.
So I think that we need, yes, respect, but we need to teach our young people, both women and men, how to deal with these things. And I have to say I've never been sexually harassed in my life because I've dealt with things. And
what does that mean, dealt with it? What does that mean?
Well, you call it out there and then, and you say to the person, that's not acceptable, and you move on. And that's how we need to teach our young people, because I have 2 daughters, and I think both of them probably have very different views on this, but they, I think, are well to deal with a man if he would, and I'm not talking about violence, I'm just talking about innuendo.
Why should they have to, Amy? Why should they have
Because that is the way of the world, and I think to say that, and I agree that is exactly what my younger daughter would say, we shouldn't have to deal with it. But in life, these things happen, and you need to be equipped to deal with it. So I don't have any problem with actually young people, older people, anybody saying that's not acceptable, and this is why I find it unacceptable, and moving on. And if someone does apologise, I think we take it on face value and roll with that.
Okay, Amy, I'm going to squeeze one more caller in 1 minute. Sarah Mulholland, can you do it? Calling in from Penzance. That's the challenge. Hello, hi. So, I mean, we should just sort of grow thicker skin and call it out at the spot and learn how to deal with it.
So I'm quite agreeable that we each have to call it out and deal with it and move on. And other callers have very much said it's a socially wide problem, and I think that's it. And when I called you originally, I think my point is that I am a middle-class woman at a certain age, and I'm absolutely confident through my own experience of other women, that most middle-class men of that certain age, and definitely younger too, have used and continue to use this sort of language and indulge in these sort of behaviours. And I'm worried that the focus on the kind of egregious or the public figure is either naive or disingenuous, and it's not going to get to the root of it, because it is a social problem. And I think what you
Sarah, no, I mean, it was a minute. That's it. It's gone. Sarah, thank you. I'm glad we got most of your point, and thank you very much for being with us. We'll be back same time next week.
Ireland and produced in Cardiff by Ed Prendeville. The assistant producer was Catherine Powell. It was a BBC Audio Wales production. Radio.
Missing people.
I don't even know now if she's still alive.
A dubious guardian controlling the vulnerable.
This care home is not a qualified solicitor who's taking power of attorney.
In Pop Stars, it's on iPlayer. Check it out. 1998 was the year. Titanic won big at the Oscars, 11 including Best Picture, and he had the chance to win $1 million on TV for the first time with the start of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And you had a new entry at number 3, Bryan Adams and Melanie C. Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, rebuilt after the disaster. And Sarah Moore pitches Music Map tomorrow afternoon on Radio 3, guides us to Vidor's famous Toccata, which was premiered by him on the Great Organ of Notre Dame in 1868. And Sarah reminded me recently of one of Notre Dame's music directors before Vidor's time, André Compra, right at the end of the 16th century, whose Requiem appeared recently in an excellent recording.
There you go. The spares all pumped up and ready to go.
It says you're a lifesaver.
Message them, told her I'd be a bit late. I'm not doing anything tonight anyway, so...
All right then, thanks. How is Emma?
She's not good. She's not good at all.
No, I can imagine. I felt awful for her in the pub yesterday.
Yeah, she was in bits when she got home. Yeah, I think it was just such a shock finding out that Mick had complained about her to the parish council. I mean, he hardly knows her. How's that looking?
Yeah, it's in place now. Just hold it there while I put these nuts on.
Yeah. I mean, Em knows how wrong she got it with George, but to have people in the village thinking that she's not fit to serve on the parish council,
Of course it is.
so, yeah. Constant worry about George, she's in a pretty bad way.
But if it helps, I think Mick's still struggling, you know, after the accident. He's finding it hard to process it all. I don't think he thinks Emma's a bad person. He just lashed out without thinking about it. Oh, damn, I dropped a nut.
There you go, I got it.
Oh, thanks. How is George?
Okay.
Good.
Actually, I don't know why I said that. I don't think he's okay. No, we're really worried about him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, he's refusing to see us. He's totally shut us up. And worse than that, they even made some friends who seem like they're really bad news. You know, they've done some serious stuff. Not that what George did wasn't serious, it was. But these lads, men, we're talking violent crime. Guns, drugs.
No wonder you're worried.
Yeah.
He's probably just doing what he can to get by.
Yeah. I think that's it. You know, he's scared.
Yeah.
He's trying to fit in. He's focused on surviving, and I get that. I'd be the same. I just hate thinking of him in there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Don't be wrong. I deserve to be. I'm just worried.
What?
Well, he's only 2 months into his sentence. Who's he going to be when he gets out?
What it is I just wanted you to know that I don't support Rick's complaint. I mean, I'm supportive of him, obviously, and he's his own man. He can do what he likes, whatever he thinks best. But I don't agree with his complaint against you.
I'd understand if you did.
Well, I don't.
Me neither. I'd do the same in his shoes. I mean, I did do the same. When I thought Alice had caused the crash, I took Kira out of the riding school and I posted on social media telling other parents to do the same. I did worse than that and all. I never even stopped to think.
Right.
So I can't blame Nick for complaining that I'm not fit to be on the council.
Well, I don't think it's that he thinks you're not fit for it. He's upset and angry, and he's taking it out on you.
Of course he's upset. You could have been killed. You could have both been killed.
Right.
Once George told me I should have gone straight to the police.
That would have been a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, but the right thing to do. I did try to persuade him. I thought I could talk him round.
Mr. Reynolds,
Please don't feel sorry for me.
I do feel for you.
I covered up a serious crime and people could have died. You could have died.
I didn't die. We're still alive, all of us.
Yeah, I know.
Look at me, sitting here in front of you, alive and kicking. I have George to thank for that. The only reason I'm here today is because your daughter saved my life. But nothing. He could have run off and left us to drown. He didn't. He risked his own life and he saved me and Fallon. That's the truth.
You know, I was so proud of him because his instinct in that moment was to help other people, and I found that enduring because he hasn't always done the right thing, George. But this time he did. Or I thought he had. And to find out actually that the whole thing was his fault. That he caused it all and put the blame on someone else.
George did a bad thing, yeah. It doesn't make him bad. It doesn't make you a bad mother.
Oh, that's not what everyone else here is thinking.
I don't think that's true, Pet. I think most folk around here and everywhere else know how hard life can be and unexpected. We're all just doing the best we can with the cards we're being dealt. Sometimes in impossible circumstances.
You kids, haven't you?
Just the one. Rochelle. I just say that I know what it's like to have a complicated relationship with your child. To feel like you've failed them because things happened that were out of your control.
Really?
Your instinct was to protect George, and that made you make some questionable decisions. But it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad man. It makes you a good one.
Oh dear, look at the state of us. We look like we've been sleeping chimneys, not changing one tire between the two of us.
Yeah, it's a good job I'm not going out tonight. It's taking a while to get this muck off.
Oh, well, after all this excitement, I'm good for nothing but collapsing on the sofa and ordering a takeaway. Thanks, Ed. I owe you one.
No, I hardly did anything.
Are you kidding? If you hadn't been passing, I'd have been stuck by the side of the road with two fat tires waiting for the recovery truck. And having you to chat to made the whole thing a lot easier than it might have been.
I enjoyed it.
Is this what it's come to? Changing a tire by the side of the road passes for a Friday night out.
Yeah, maybe. That's sad.
Well, it's a bit.
Well, it was just good to think about something else for a bit.
I'm really sorry to hear things are so difficult, George.
Thanks. That's pretty generous of you after everything.
Ed, we're friends. I'm here for you. You and Em. I know it's been weird, difficult and messy, but I'm really glad we're all friends again. Things are finally on their way back to normal.
I just... Yeah, never mind.
Ed, what? What is it?
No, I just wish things were back to normal for me and Em.
George in prison, you mean?
Yeah, and everything else. It's just all so complicated. Like, we agreed that we were going to put it all behind us and move on. And try.
That's good.
It's not as easy as that, though, is it? Because things keep happening to get in the way, like this parish council complaint.
You just got to hang in there.
Yeah, I know. Oh well.
Good. And if you ever need to talk or drink or, I don't know, change a tyre on a freezing Friday night.
I know where to find you.
You're so welcome. Come here.
Are you doing anything nice tonight?
Nick's rehearsing his creepy Christmas with Linda. So I said I'd go and meet him in the Bull afterwards, have we tea there.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Kira might fancy it. Creepy Christmas. I think it's going to be quite spectacular from the sounds of it.
I don't know, maybe. Might be a bit awkward.
No, won't it be fine? Emma, what's happened has happened. But you live here. You don't need to hide away.
I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe I should keep a lower profile altogether.
You don't mean leave the parish council?
Well, Mick's got a point, hasn't he? Maybe I shouldn't be a parish councillor. I've done.
Come off it. You don't think that.
I don't know what I think anymore. But I don't think I'm up to it, then maybe it's time to bow out. They might give me no choice anyway.
Why? What will happen?
Who knows? The district council's going to look at it, and then it'll go back to the parish council, who decides what action to take, if any. So it could be nothing like the risk, it could be worse. If I have to face any of that, would I? At least I would be pleased. Well, he thinks I should give it up. I've got enough on my plate. Yeah. But the council's one of them things that's really kept me going, you know. I've really loved being a parish councillor. Some of them just see it like a status thing, but I really tried to do it well, to make a difference to people.
So why would you give that up? Mick's a good man, but he's a right kind of person, you know. Good or bad, wrong or right. That's fair enough if it worked for you. But my life has taught me that actually there's less black and white, more grey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's up to you. But from where I'm standing, it would be a big loss to the community. Knackered. I reckon you can find a little spark to get you on your feet so you can stand your ground. And when you do, I'll be cheering you on.
The Archers was written by Sarah MacDonald Hughes. Fiona Mountain. It was directed in Birmingham by Pip Swallow, and the editor is Jeremy Howe. And a new available now. Scenes with guests including Ben Norris, who plays Ben Archer, and Jackie Weaver on this week's Parish Council chicanery and her own Ambridge experience. That's the Archers podcast with Emma Freud, available on BBC Sounds. Now here's Anita Rani.
On Kendall is out on a role in a new spy thriller, Black Doves. I'll know my lines, I'll just go in, I don't have to do any of that. And then rewrite after rewrite, you know, there are a couple of gun battles. I thought that's still out window, Kira, and much more on Weekend on Mazar today, just after 4.
This Radio 4
has fled the country. Offering $50,000 for information leading to the arrest and action of the suspect behind the New York killing of the health insurance executive Brian Thompson. Police have found a backpack in Central Park